It's a full moon, and for the 5D collective, mystics and people, we get to choose love. And we chose it very easily, I might add, because it's our human nature. So, Sadhguru, the greatest gift you can give to another human being is to accept, respect, and love them. And yes, I said our human nature. I do know some people do not know about our human nature from the updated lovely mental health, neuroscience, neurobiology community. I meet them all the time. I'd say that the 4D, 3D collective, we're going to put them to the side, but they completely do not believe in it at all. They use the evil word, like the ancient textbooks, instead of using it with a scale that comes from, for example, Michael Stone is his name, forensic criminologist, as he shares on an interview on YouTube. You can find it. It's either on the YouTube channel of the Well or Big Think, but his scale shows all the people in it basically can make use of a good therapist, a therapist that knows about the inner child, and so abandonment and attachment wounds and everything that those of us, I'm attachment and trauma informed on purpose, since I support personal development. How are you going to be yourself? And so what you get to find out, and I got to find out, something that intuitively I knew here because I have a whole 3-year-old heart. So I was lovingly accepted, and I did not have to work for love, and I was allowed to have all of those basic emotions be expressed as wildly as child-centric environment. Okay, so what you find out from the good therapist is that there's a lot of things that affect us, yes, and that 0, 1, 2 years of age, the 0 to 1, very important. So I'm going to put that aside. Let's go to the believe yourself, because this one's really great before we keep moving forward. Bruce B. Wilmer. Believe in yourself. I've had this since I was about 15. It was not hard to follow. Loving yourself, not hard to do. For those of us who have secure attachment and we do not have trauma, we have charges. All of us have the inner child thing. But the difference is those of us who are doing the emotional building regulation skills, we are the Pacha handshake of the Emperor's New Groove. So we don't turn and do Cusco attitude or the squirrel attitude as we're growing up. So we maintained our actual whole sense of self, and that's the birthright of every person that they can return to. So when you meet the good therapist, they will inform you of what a secure attachment figure is. And in fact, Patrick Tiahan is a childhood trauma survivor. He's healed. I always say also healing, and he's on YouTube, and he shares a lot of awareness on childhood trauma. And today, or a couple days ago, one of the things he shared, let me see if I can find it, was something very, very beautiful, because here's where the 4D likes to use the word healers and know about the light worker journey, because that's where 5D mystics come into the mix. But we don't do the I'm healing you, because the trauma charges that come up and the attachment wounds and everything that's in your body, which is your divine feminine, is for you to actually be able. And but here's the thing, it comes up. So if you can't handle it, which is where we have the shame cycle and the 4D, 3D, and adaptive children collective, if you will, adaptive children, because not that they're children, but their maladaptive manners come with them. So see, behaviors, what people that are not attachment and trauma informed don't understand is that it's not just this. No, there's implicit memory stuff. The first 3 years of your life, your implicit memory. So there's emotions. That's right. You're emotionally led first. But again, the people who don't believe in this information, really what it is they don't learn about it. And then the people who do, they're not learning about it to actually share it. They're using it in a different way. But we're going to leave that one to the side. Let me stick to our lovely Ascension energies, the full moon. So for 5D collective, we are knowing that right here, Patrick Tiahan, we are born with naturally generous hearts, and we can reclaim them by healing our childhoods. So he shares a lot of memes and great information. A lot of text is accompanying that one. That was not what I was looking for. This one is what I was looking for. Therapy, he says, is hard for those of us who have never been parented. And he goes on to share how he believes a good trauma therapist is like a healthy parent. A good parent seeks to know, remember, guide, care for, bond, enjoy the relationship. Now, I won't read all of it, but you can find him online. I will share how I learned this already from Daniel Siegel on Mindsight Institute. There's a lot of great courses, so you can go check that one out. But as he shares, again, in my different courses, how a secure attachment figure is a person. So Patrick Tiahan uses a ideal parent. He also uses the word healer. a person who's of the 5D collective is just going to say this is human nature. It's our mammalian nature, because we will know how to be in our prefrontal cortex because we have integration, the brain capacity. So we're not with charges that come up that overwhelm our nervous system. And that's why we can shake a hand like Pacha and we say, I love you. And unlike the Maya Angelou quote where she says, when people say I love you, but they don't know how to love themselves first, watch out. Here's where we don't need to watch out, because when somebody is avoidant, ambivalent, or disorganized, those are attachment categories, it will be clear because they will have Cusco type mannerisms. It's low self-esteem, passive aggressive, indirect communication. They don't know boundaries because they get chaotic or rigid. So they either literally accuse you of things, and a lot of other teenager stuff is what I call it, or they completely like disappear. And this is why a 5D person doesn't do the twin flame saga, because there's no saga. If you disappear on me, you disappeared. You're making a conscious choice. Now, you may not know, which is where Patrick Tehan, again, as he presents, and a lot of other therapists, a lot of people don't apparently want to use the good information. No, they are using it. I've seen them. They make a lot of content. When I see them in action, like I said, 4D, 3D, they tend to talk about themselves as healers. That's spirituality bypass, and or just an ego, individuals who don't have a whole 3-year-old self. So they have not returned home to themselves. They're using knowledge from their left mode, and they have yet to completely become unconditionally loving, which is the mammalian heritage of you. So that's a somatic empath. It means that when you and I are interacting, I have no triggers. So when you're treating me a certain way or speaking to me, like as a mystic, I get told I'm woo-woo. As a person who brings together human, spiritual, and spirituality elements to support personal development of people who are serious about getting out of dysregulation. So serious again. If it's hard, they're not going to be coming not to IHP and not to anybody else. They're going to be doing what I see out there, which is the shame cycle. Inner critic in the head and outer critic when they get tired of criticizing themselves, and it's called rumination. It's unfortunate because, see, all of those things that are not in your mammalian heritage are in a biochemistry of fear, and they all have a solution, because imagination is your neuroplastic agent. And that means when you're sitting and thinking and with your left mode, over here chit-chatting away, you just say, hey, be quiet for a minute. And the emotions, they're going to be there. So we have Sadhguru. I love that he shares how with yoga you can become the owner of your body. Yes, it helps you because it actually helps you to start working your ventral vagal nervous system toning. And also because you get to start doing that so-called mindfulness meditation and attention. And so you use your neuroplasticity. And so it's a long story short, again, 3 minutes. Let me read this first. Bruce B. Wilmer, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself to the depth of your being. Nourish the talents your spirit is freeing. Know in your heart when the going gets slow that your faith in yourself will continue to grow. Don't forfeit ambition when others may doubt. It's your life to live. You must live it throughout. Learn from your errors. Don't dwell in the past. Never withdraw from a world that is vast. Believe in yourself. Find the best that is you. Let your spirit prevail. Steer a course that is true. And so when you do have a whole 3-year-old heart, you are your own secure attachment figure. I got lucky because I got to be raised with equanimity. And as Terry Real, another great therapist, points out, you will love others and you will handle others and yourself the way you were handled. So when you get to sit in the neutrality and duality, because you're presented that way, and I've been presented a lot of things, and then you're presented, there's the law and there's society, and you're a member of it. And so respect, it's actually not something you disengage from. So while somebody may be yelling at me or avoiding or whatever, and actually do the indirect communication, I know that they have chosen fear. And thanks to the trauma therapist, that the people who choose fear, they're not choosing it consciously. They have small trauma, big trauma, attachment wounds. And so the 5D collective doesn't impose their unconditional love. They reach out, they let you know you're beautiful just the way you are. And if you accept, it's great. And if you don't, we will be able to move forward because we don't do rumination. So using integration of the brain means that when I am emotionally participating, I have emotional building regulation skills, which is why we do the human love narrative. So you look to the past, polyamory, monoamory, and you're like, wow, I have had so far an amazing life. While the human suffering love group chooses to do what is rumination. They have options. We don't tell people what to do. Pacha don't lecture Cusco. So we have a beautiful full moon, divine feminine, divine masculine harmony.